A grey ghost haunts Delhi, a choking, invisible killer that seeps into lungs, blinds skylines, and smothers a city that never sleeps. Every breath feels heavier, every morning looks dimmer. The capital of India, once proud and powerful, now stands powerless against a haze of its own making. Schools shut, flights delayed, lives shortened, scores of deaths every year and counting. It's not fog, it's a failure of policy, planning, and political will. While Delhi gasps, Beijing, on the other hand, once the world's pollution capital, breathes clean. 10 years ago, China fought its airpocalypse and won. Delhi, meanwhile, is still fighting the same war with less courage and lesser clarity. Should Delhi take a page out of China's book? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. This isn't a new story. Delhi has been living this nightmare for decades. The city drowns in smog every winter. Stubble burning, vehicular exhaust, industrial dust, a deadly cocktail that kills silently. Between 2009 and 2019, 3.8 million Indians lost their lives to air pollution, according to reports. But what's striking is this. In the early 2010s, both Delhi and Beijing faced the same suffocating crisis. Particulate matter with a diameter of less than 2.5 micrometers or PM squared 5 levels touched 500 micrograms, 50 times the WHO limit. A decade later, Beijing cut it by 2/3. Delhi, barely a dent. Why did one city find redemption and the other stagnation? To understand Delhi's failure, we must first understand China's revolution. 2013, Beijing was suffocating. Visibility dropped to meters. Hospitals overflowed with patients gasping for air. Schools shut, flights grounded. The world mocked airpocalypse China, a modern empire wrapped in grey. But for Beijing, humiliation became motivation. Outrage turned into action. The Communist Party declared what Premier Li Keqiang called a war against pollution. Not a campaign, not a slogan, a war. It wasn't optional. It wasn't cosmetic. It was command and control at a $1 trillion scale. Beijing shut down 3,000 coal boilers. Coal use was slashed by 30%, capped at 15 million tons by 2017. Factories that refused to comply were sealed, relocated, or dismantled. Steel and cement plants were forced to cut emissions or close. Industrial giants bowed to environmental edicts. The message was clear: clean up or shut down. And when Beijing cut coal, it didn't just turn off the lights, it turned on the sun. 4 gigawatts of solar and wind capacity were added. Natural gas replaced soot. Clean energy filled the grid. Pollution fell, but the city didn't stop growing.
We will strictly control the use of thermal power in Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei province. The Yangtze River and Zhejiang Delta areas will also be closely watched. Approval of new coal power plants are prohibited. According to our preliminary plan, the use of coal gasification will reach 50 billion cubic meters. It will account for 1/8 of China's national gas supply.
Next came the roads, low-emission zones, the new borders within Beijing. Old, high-emission vehicles were banned. Electric buses replaced diesel fleets. Subway lines expanded to 1,000 kilometers, turning public transport into the city's lifeline. License plate lotteries limited car ownership, and subsidies powered an electric revolution. By 2020, 40% of new car sales were electric. Charging stations mushroomed. Cities once drowned in exhaust now glowed with electric silence.
Last year, the number of model vehicles in the city was increasing by 20,000 a month. The number is large and the growth is very rapid, so automobiles' exhaust gas has become a major source of air pollution. Starting from 2014, all model vehicles failing to meet national level 4 emission standard will be forbidden in Shijiazhuang City.
办理这个转入这个手续。
Then came technology, the invisible army. A network of 1,500 real-time monitoring stations blanketed China. Apps like Blue Sky made data public. Every citizen could see, measure, and complain. Transparency became policy. Accountability became a culture. For the first time, pollution had nowhere to hide. And as machines fought the smog, nature joined the war. 100 million trees were planted around Beijing, a green shield filtering toxins, cooling temperatures, and restoring faith in the color blue. The results were staggering. From 2013 to 2017, Beijing's PM2.5 fell 35%. Across China, the national average dropped 25%. Hospitals reported 20% fewer respiratory cases. Life expectancy in Beijing jumped by 4.6 years. Nationwide, it rose by 2. Between 2013 and 2020, China accounted for 3/4 of the world's total reduction in air pollution. 3/4.
Huge progress in environment policies in China over the last few years. President Xi Jinping setting out ecological civilization as well as beautiful China. This frames people's thinking and have enormous impact. But of course, the most spectacular successes, I think, is in reducing pollution. We just saw the figures, drastic reduced pollution in Beijing, in other parts of Hebei province and Tianjin, but basically all over China, you see pollution coming down at a speed which is remarkable.
Meanwhile, Delhi, the world's new pollution capital, moved in slow motion. Yes, Delhi tried. It launched commissions, committees, and campaigns. The Commission for Air Quality Management, that is CAQM, the Graded Response Action Plan, that is GRAP, the Air Pollution Mitigation Plan 2025, all of that. But the problem wasn't the plans, it was the pace. While Beijing executed, Delhi experimented. While China enforced, Delhi debated. While Beijing shut down factories, Delhi sent notices. Every year, the same story, a blanket of haze, a chorus of excuses. Delhi's new 2025 plan reads impressive on paper. It bans old vehicles, allows only BS4 compliant vehicles, CNG or electric ones. 200 road sweepers hum through the night. Anti-smog guns stand tall on high rises. Drones track stubble burning. Cloud seeding tries to make rain from hope. But these are bandages, not surgery. Because the heart of the crisis lies beyond Delhi, in the fields of Punjab and Haryana, where burning stubble sends toxic smoke drifting over the capital. 38% of Delhi's pollution each winter comes from fires hundreds of kilometers away. Can Delhi breathe freely if its neighbors keep burning? Beijing didn't treat smog as a city problem. It treated it as a regional war. 27 cities across 5 provinces fought together. Factories in Hebei that poisoned Beijing's air were shut, not shrugged off. Regional coordination made the capital's air everyone's responsibility. Delhi's pollution, on the other hand, crosses borders, but its solutions stop at the state line. Coordination collapses into confrontation. Politics chokes where smog should. Governance, too, is worlds apart. China's power is centralized. When Beijing says cut coal, the provinces comply. India's democracy is louder but slower. Delhi has to negotiate with half a dozen states, ministries, and agencies. The result? Fragmented action, diluted accountability. In China, local officials' promotions were tied to air quality targets. Miss the goal, lose your job. Imagine that in Delhi. Accountability is diffused, and so is the air. Then comes enforcement. Beijing's inspectors patrolled factories and streets. Fines were public. Shutdowns were swift. Data was released monthly. Every violation was a number. Every number, a headline. Fear became compliance. Delhi, meanwhile, still struggles with basic monitoring. According to the CHE's 2025 report of Delhi, 88% of the capital city's air quality monitoring stations violate official guidelines, blocked by trees, too close to roads, or sitting in restricted areas. And here's the kicker. There are some reports that have found sprinklers used near AQI monitors to artificially lower readings. Water down the truth, smog in the data, not just in the air. Investigations by several media organizations found display boards showing cleaner air than independent sensors nearby. Monitoring stations are conveniently hidden near forested patches to produce prettier numbers. Manipulation or negligence, either way, Delhi's data can't be trusted. That means health warnings are off, policy responses are skewed, public trust is gone. When people stop believing the air quality index, they stop believing the system. And when governance loses credibility, pollution gains permanence. Compare that to China, where citizens could open the Blue Sky app and track their neighborhood's pollution in real time. Transparency wasn't charity, it was survival. The public became watchdogs. The state became accountable. Delhi's Green Delhi app has helped resolve complaints, but the scale of action still pales. For every complaint resolved, thousands go unanswered because smog doesn't wait for bureaucracy. Yet, credit where due. 2025, according to official reports, has brought small victories. For the first time since 2018, Delhi saw no severe AQI days between January and October. PM2.5 averaged 72 micrograms per cubic meter, down from 83 in 2024. Biomining has cleared 136 lakh tons of legacy waste, reducing landfill fires. Industrial units now run on piped natural gas, not coal. These are real achievements. But come Diwali and it all collapses. Crackers ignite, crop fires flare, the haze returns. The cycle resets, and Delhi once again disappears beneath its own breath. China's story was different. When the action plan for the prevention and control of air pollution was launched in 2013, it didn't stop at bans. It rewired the economy. It put environment over expansion. It poured $100 billion into clean energy, afforestation, and upgrades. It forced change, not asked for it. By 2017, coal's share in China's energy mix had fallen drastically. Clean energy made up to 15% of consumption. The Blue Sky War wasn't just a policy, it was a performance metric for an entire government. And the results spoke in lives. 4 years of cleaner air added years to lifespans. Hospitals saw fewer cases of asthma and COPD. Public confidence rebounded. A decade later, Beijing's PM2.5 is 29 micrograms per cubic meter, down 67% from 2013. Delhi's 72 micrograms per cubic meter, barely moving. Two cities began together. One transformed, the other tinkered. So what should Delhi learn? First, coordination. Pollution doesn't respect boundaries. Delhi must form cross-state coalitions like China did. The NCR and its surrounding states acting as one ecosystem. Second, enforcement. Empower the National Green Tribunal to act swiftly. Impose fines that hurt. Shut down violators, not just warn them. Third, technology and renewables. Enforce emission standards strictly. Electrify public transport faster. Subsidize clean energy transitions. Beijing cut coal. Delhi can cut dependency on diesel and dust. Fourth, transparency. Let citizens see the truth, all of it. Expand monitoring, fix faulty stations, open source the data, trust the people with numbers, not narratives. And finally, funding. Pollution control isn't cheap, but the cost of inaction is higher in hospital bills, lost productivity, and shortened lives. China poured money without hesitation. India must spend smarter, not just on experiments like cloud seeding, but on structural transformation. Because, as the Ministry of Earth Sciences said, cloud seeding is an experiment, not a solution. You can't wash away a crisis that's systemic. You must dismantle it. Beijing didn't become clean overnight. It took a decade of discipline. Even today, challenges remain: ozone pollution, industrial rebounds post-COVID. But the difference is this: China learned to sustain pressure. Delhi, on the other hand, resets after every smog season. Real change comes when cleaner air becomes non-negotiable, not seasonal. And this isn't just about lungs and visibility, it's about credibility. If Delhi, India's showcase city, cannot control its air, what message does that send about urban governance in the world's fifth largest economy? Because what's the point of cloud seeding if the clouds of governance are thicker? What's the use of anti-smog guns when truth itself is fogged? Beijing's transformation wasn't just environmental, it was political. It treated pollution as a national emergency, not a talking point. Delhi must do the same. This is not about copying China's authoritarian model. It's about learning its discipline, its data-driven governance, its zero-tolerance enforcement. Democracy doesn't mean dysfunction. It means accountability amplified by freedom, not paralyzed by it. Delhi's war on pollution will only be won when it stops treating the symptoms and starts addressing the sources, when it stops sprinkling water near sensors and starts planting credibility in governance, when the city stops chasing visibility for headlines and starts chasing visibility in the skyline. Because somewhere east, Beijing stands as proof that polluted air can be cleared, that economic growth and environmental protection can coexist. Proof that a country can go from airpocalypse to the blue sky decade. And somewhere in Delhi, millions wait for that proof to arrive, not from speeches, but from cleaner air. The lesson is simple. Beijing fought back with policy, with power, with purpose. Delhi still hesitates. But every breath lost is a reminder that time is running out, and so is air. So Delhi must finally ask itself, will it keep gasping or will it finally start breathing? Thank you for watching Statecraft.